Okay, hello. This is the first demo for this class. I'm going to go over kind of setting up a folder for the class, some computer basics, and then getting into a few small things to start creating our name tag in Illustrator, okay? First thing we need to do here is go down to this little yellow folder, the File Explorer, okay? Open that up. There are two places where I want you to save everything at in this class. Everything must be saved, all right? Just because if you come in during SRT and your seat is not available, you cannot access it without saving it in one of these two locations, okay? So it'll be really frustrating for me and probably for you if you cannot access it. So first place you can save that is this PC. It's got the little blue computer here. You'll click. A bunch of network locations will pop up. You should see one on here that says your student ID number, okay? If you do not see one, let me know and I can send you down to tech, but you should have one, okay? You can save within that if you need to, so you click, and you can create a folder in here for this class, so you go up to Home, New Folder, and then title it Digital Design. The other place you can save at here is in the OneDrive, okay? OneDrive you can access anywhere from any computer as long as you are logged in. If you click here and it doesn't pop up with this and it wants you to log in, go ahead and use your student ID to log in, okay? Once you are where you are at that you want to create a folder, you'll go up to Home, New Folder, pop up at the top here. There it goes. You can name it, double click on it, go back. There you go. You can name it Digital Design. Okay, then you'll have it. I'm going to delete this one because I don't need it. Delete. Yes, I already have one here. This is where you will save everything. Okay, let's go in here. If you're super duper organized, you can save different projects into different project folders. Okay, I have two created here, project 1, project 2. You can do that in the same location. So you're in digital design, go to Home, New Folder. You can make another project folder here. If you ever get lost or you don't know where you're at within the File Explorer here, check your path up here, okay? So I'm in the OneDrive, in my digital design folder. I click here. Now I'm in my project 1 folder, okay? You can click back out from here. You can click in from here. So always check the path up here, okay? Totally up to you if you want to make folders inside of the digital design folder. If you're organized, I think it would be a good thing, but you must be saving everything to that digital design folder we made, okay? Promise me. All right. Next thing here, get that out of the way. On our course, under Digital Design Basics, you'll find a couple computer basics. If you ever forget anything, this has got a good tips on it. Okay, there's 10 tips. This one, take a deep breath, you'll figure it out. So I showed you where to save your stuff at. That's what this is telling you. Same thing here. Okay. Save frequently. It is up to you how often you want to save. I will remind you every day at the end of class to save. I'll say, hey, we have like 3 minutes left. You might want to get saved up, cleaned up. Okay. So it's important that you're saving. I will try to remind you every day at the end of class. I will not remind you every 10 minutes or 15 minutes during class to save. If you want to do that to be safe, totally up to you. But that is on you if you want to do that or not. But I will remind you every day to save, okay? We're gonna go over quick commands. I'll show you some today too. You'll learn more as we keep going through the programs. I'll show you some of my favorites here. You'll use a lot of them or you won't use them at all, okay? This is telling you to double click to open folders in your File Explorer here. This can be kind of confusing and a little bit tricky once we get into the Adobe programs. Illustrator and Photoshop do not want you to double click, okay? If you are a double clicker, it's going to take you some time to kind of stop that habit and become a single clicker. I still from time to time will double click. It's okay. This guy is telling you to check your path, just like we talked about. Look for extensions. So every single thing on your File Explorer here, I'm gonna go up to here. We'll have different extensions. Show you. properties. This one's a JPEG, meaning it's a photo. So when you get ready to save something, it's important to look and see what the extension is, all right? When you get ready to turn something in, I'm going to want you to save it as a high quality JPEG, okay? Both of these are JPEG right here. I will go over it again with you before we save or get ready to print, okay? AI is the Adobe Illustrator extension here. You will use that to continue working on something in Illustrator. So don't immediately save as a JPEG if you're not done working on something, okay? Saving it as an AI file will let you open it back up and continue working on it, okay? PNG is also a photo, but we will always use JPEG. We won't really use any of these other ones for our projects, okay? When you get ready to save, please put your initials in your file. If you have the same initials as someone, we can use like the first part of your first name or 2 letters into your last name, whatever, okay? This is just so that way you recognize your file whenever we're getting ready to print. Keep things organized. If you want to make more folders in your digital design folder, totally fine, up to you. Last one here, I will almost always come around and help you if something like this happens. Your computer might freeze up, especially in Adobe Photoshop or Illustrator. If you're clicking a bunch of things and it's not moving very quickly, it's trying to catch up to what you're doing and it's just not very quick. The computers in here are slow, so if you're just clicking something over and over and over again, stop, wait a second, let it kind of get caught up. If it doesn't catch up, and it's still frozen, call me over. I will pull up Task Manager if you want to do it. This is how you do it, but I can come over and pull it up for you. If it doesn't get fixed this way, we're gonna have to restart, okay? And this is why it's important to save what you are working on. Okay. Good deal. To log on to Adobe Illustrator, you will have a bunch of apps here to the left of your computer screen. It's on my other monitor, so I don't have them here. We need to open up the Adobe Creative Cloud. So go ahead, and it's that rainbow app on your screen. It says Adobe on it. It should pop you up to something that looks like this, all right? We're gonna be using Photoshop and Illustrator. Always make sure they're up to date. If you ever need to do an update, go ahead and click on it and just get it going. You can update all of them if you want, or if you just want to update the ones we're working on, that's fine too. Mine are up to date, they're good to go. If you've never logged in before, it's gonna want you to log in. Same thing here, go ahead and log in with your student ID and that login. Once you get logged in, go ahead and hit open on Illustrator, the orange one here. Give it a second, it will be kind of slow. Everything Adobe is slow. Here we are. Your screen should look something like this, right? You won't have all this stuff down here because you've probably never done anything yet. That's okay. This is nice. It will kind of save what you've been recently working on, so you can just come in here and open it up. If it's never here, you're like, I don't know where it's at. You can go to File, Open, and pull it from your handy dandy digital design folder, okay? For now, since we have nothing, you're brand spanking new, we need to make an artboard, okay? So you're gonna hit this blue button that says New File. It will also have recent things that you've made here. Yours may only have like 1 or 2 because you've never made anything. We're gonna make a custom one, so we need to go up here to print. We're not making a film or a video, a web page. We're not doing anything mobile. We're gonna be making prints in this class, so you're always gonna need to use print. Then they also have presets over here. We're not gonna use any of them. We're gonna go ahead and make our own. So you can title it right here. As a reminder, do your initials, and then you could say project 1. We're making name tags, so you could say name tag. Just something that you know what it is, okay? Whoops, there we go. Next thing we're gonna do here is we need to always be working in inches. If you take anything away from this demo, freaking change this to inches, okay? When we go to print, if you're in pixels, it's gonna print really tiny and it's annoying. So just put it in inches, okay? This is good for today. I will sometimes give you custom size here. I'll tell you like 19 by 22 or what have you. We can adjust it when we come into here, but for now, this is good for the name tag. This is like the size of a piece of paper, okay? We're going to change the orientation here. Right now it's in portrait. We want it to be in landscape. Click, and then it goes ahead and changes that for us, flip-flops them, see? Which is nice. We want it to do that. Artboards, we're going to keep it at 1. This just means how many different pieces of paper it's going to pop up on your screen. So if you're working on multiple different designs, it could be nice to have them all up on the same screen. You can copy and paste something over. But for now, we just need the 1. Not going to touch any of this stuff here. We're going to go down to color mode. Click RGB. RGB is just like a more rich, brighter, more vibrant color. This guy here is popping up, letting you know, hey, your printer is not RGB, it's CMYK, which is really frustrating. I'll go over it more as the time comes nearer to us. Just as letting you know that, hey, when you print, the color is not going to match what you're doing. You can go ahead and work in CMYK if you want, but even when you print, then it's never going to match 100%. Almost everyone prefers RGB. That's what a lot of artists use. That's what we're going to use, unless you choose to do CMYK. Right before we print, I will show you how to kind of color correct or to change it directly to CMYK. But just know the color will never, ever fully match. The color on your screen will not be the same as what you print. It's very disappointing, I know. Raster effects here needs to be high, okay? The 300 pixels per inch. Don't do anything below that. They're all trash. Default is good for the preview mode. So once this is all set up, squared away, hit create. Pops up here. So we have a few different things I'm going to show you. We're just doing a few tools to get started here. That way you can kind of understand the inner workings of Illustrator. Over here to the left is your toolbar. Okay, it's a very basic toolbar. If you right click on a tool, tools within it will pop up. Some of them don't have tools underneath of them. You'll know by these like little white, little grayed checks, arrows. Okay. If you ever can't find a tool, go down to these 3 dots here. And here are a bunch of tools. Okay. Ones that are grayed out mean they're already over here in the toolbar. They're probably just underneath something. So if you hover, it will show you in a little blue outline where it's at on the screen. Ones that aren't grayed out are not on your toolbar. Okay. The black arrow is like your safety net. So anytime that you need to do something and you can't figure out, let's say you're on a tool and you want to move this, but you're like, I just keep making boxes. Go to that black arrow and then you can move things, okay? The quick command for that black arrow is V on your keyboard. Switches over. The other thing that you need to keep in mind, actually, I'm going to pop those back up here. Is that we're going to be using layers in our properties panel a lot, okay? Let's flip over to layers here. We are currently on layer 1, my boxes. Go ahead and double click on that. You can name it background. As we get into some bigger projects here, you're probably going to want to create a couple more layers, all right? So you can go down here, this little box with the plus, and hit create new layer. Another one pops up. Each layer will be colored differently. So we have blue, red, and so on. We got another one up here, green. That way you know which layer you're working on, what your objects are in. So this guy has that little kind of light blue outline to it. If I were to make something on my red layer, it has that red outline on it, okay? If you ever need to delete a layer, you'll just come in here and click on it. There's a tiny trash can down here. Just click on the trash can, it goes away. We have little tiny eyeballs next to our layers. This allows us to either make something visible or invisible. So right now they're visible because the eye is on, right? If I click this eyeball, my box on my red layer disappears. Same thing if I click these boxes on the blue layer. You can also lock a layer if you're done working on it and you don't want to move anything. Put that little lock on, and then I can't move these guys anywhere. They're stuck. I can move this one. If you ever put something on the wrong layer, so I have this box on the red layer, but I want all of them to be on the blue layer, I'll select it, it's highlighted. I have this little tiny dot here. I'm just going to click and drag. If I wanted to move it back up, there's a little tiny dot. Just click and drag. You need to make sure that it's selected on your screen, though, to move it, okay? If you want to select multiple things at once, you can click on it, hold down the Shift key, click on it, and now they're both selected. Move them down. So that is our layers. You'll want to use them later on for different projects to kind of build different things up here. Now, let's delete some of these boxes here and get them out of the way. I'm highlighting, so selecting something and hitting backspace on my keyboard to delete. Anytime you're using a tool or you've made something, you can change anything with it with the properties panel. So let's make this guy a little bit bigger. These little white marks on it, I can take my black mouse and kind of move it around. I can change the size of it here. I can make it skinnier, wider, longer, taller. Okay. Over here, I can change the appearance. So I can fill it to whatever color I want. I have different swatches in here that I could choose from. If you don't like any of the swatches, you can go over to the color mixer and create your own color. You can pull from down here, make whatever color you want, right? Fancy. There's like a little outline that we call the stroke around our shape here. You can see it's black on this one. I'll zoom in so you can see it. Control plus is zoom in, control minus is zoom out. And then if you hold the space bar, your little cursor here turns into a grabby hand. You can slide your screen around and zoom in. So here's the stroke line right here. Control 0 takes you back to kind of like that middle ground area. Let's click on this guy. We can change the color of our stroke too. Again, we have all those swatches, color mixer, where we can make our own color. Right here, I can change the size of my stroke. I can make it really thick, really thin. If you don't want it, you go over to swatches and you hit that little slash. No stroke. No. Opacity here is just how visible it is. So you can do 50%, make it kind of see-through. We'll keep it at 100 for now. So we've got this nice handy dandy rectangle. I'm going to show you a few other things here about our shapes. The polygon and star tool, go ahead and click polygon here. If I don't click and drag, so I'm clicking and dragging right now to make a polygon. If I just click once on my screen, this little options panel comes up, asking me how many sides I want it to have. So I could change it. The smallest you can do is 3, because that's a triangle, right? That's the smallest polygon that we can make. I don't know what the largest is. You could probably put a really large number. Just keep in mind, if you do something like crazy dramatic, like 1,000, your computer may lag, okay? Because it's trying to process that, put it all together for you. Show you 15. Hit OK. And now we have 15 little sides here on our polygon. Same thing with the star. A right click on my shape, star tool. If I click and drag, it's just the default normal 5-point star. If I click once on my screen, it's going to ask me how many points I want my star to have. I could do 27. Super tiny. Let's zoom in here. So I have 27 points here on my star. All right, it's kind of crazy. Let's make them a little bit bigger. Very tiny. There we go. So those are our shape tools over here. Pretty fun, right? Same thing, if you have them selected, you can go over here and change whatever you want with them. If you want to do multiple at a time, hold down on Shift. You can change them all together. I'll do the same things. Change it to orange. If you're ever trying to make, If you're ever trying to make something bigger or smaller, let's say you have this guy stacked in here. Let's change the color of them so you can see. Put them in here. let's say I want these guys to be aligned together. So I want this to be centered, but I just can't quite get it right. I'm going to select both of them here. So there's different alignment tools. So we need to align it kind of in the vertical center, shifts it down, and then the horizontal center, and it shifts it to the middle there. These are really nice if you want it to be a certain way. It just knows exactly where the center of that path is for each. Another thing here is if you want to make something bigger or smaller, you can hold the magic shift key and it will lock the height and width in place. Like that. See how it's not changing? If I don't hit that shift key, I can change it like this. But notice as I'm scaling it up, my stroke line stays the same. This guy stays the same. That is because, scroll over here. This on my preferences, on my properties panel under preferences, I have scale, strokes, and effects on. If you do not have that on and you start to scale something, maybe, here we go. Notice that my stroke line is still really, it's just big now. It's not really making it tiny like I wanted it to be. It's not keeping those things the same, getting bigger or smaller. So if I turn that back on, show you now. And make it smaller. See, my stroke line actually is getting smaller with the rest of it. It's not that big chunky one anymore. So it's keeping all those parts kind of connected, scaling them up and down together. Control Z is undo. It's an important one that everyone uses. You can also undo here. So you can undo the last thing you did. The other thing I showed everyone here is the type tool, this guy. Just like it sounds, it's going to pop up with text. It does kind of like this default text. You can go ahead and highlight it. So I'm clicking and dragging across this. I'm going to delete, type in my name here. I'm going to highlight. Again, over my properties panel, I can fill it in whatever color I want. You can make it pink. You could give it a stroke or an outline. I'm going to keep it with none. Sometimes it gets a little bit chaotic. You can change the opacity if I want it to be kind of invisible, a little bit lighter on here. Change the opacity of this guy so you can see. And I accidentally wrote my name in the process. There we go. Okay. So highlight your name for anything that you want to do. If it's not highlighted, it's not going to change the color, the stroke, the opacity, or any of this other fun stuff. Right here under character, you can change the font. Lots of different fonts. If you hover over it, it shows you what it's kind of going to look like, which is really handy. Right below that, we have little t, big T, just showing you that you can make your text bigger or smaller, making it big. This guy here is the spacing between your letters. So if you want it to be kind of spread out, starts to spread it out. If you want them to be really close together, starts to shift them back together. Oh. Okay. Move that guy into here. So what we're doing is making the background of our name tag up to you. If you want it to be whatever color, if you want it to be the shape here. Oh, before I forget too. On our shapes, you'll notice that when you click on it, they have these little blue circles called targets. So you click on them and you drag, it rounds out your harsh corners, which is really fun. Let's see if I zoom in here. Yeah, okay. Sometimes they come in, sometimes they go. I can see it here. There we go. So that's got this guy. You can make him really weird looking. A little bit rounded. Same with my name tag here. Little targets to pull. round it out if I wanted to. Super fun. Also, if you ever, let's say I wanted this, let's do this. Let's say I wanted this guy to be in front of my name here. I can select it. I can go to arrange over here, my properties panel. I could bring it to the front, send it straight to the back, and you can bring it forward and backwards one. I think it's easier, send it to the back. So now it's behind this big shape. To go into your layers panel here, click the down arrow. You can see everything you've done on that layer. You can click whatever you want. So I'm grabbing that green star, I'm dragging it up above my name here, and I'm dropping it. So now it's above my name. If I wanted to, if I wanted it behind my name, same thing. Click on it, maybe. There we go. Drag it down. So now it's behind my name. If you ever forget to move something to a different layer, so let's say I wanted my name to be on this other layer so I could lock my background layer. Again, you click on it, drag that guy up. Now he's on that layer. I think that is everything that I was gonna go over, hopefully. If not, keep going with that. Hopefully this is helpful. For now, you're going to continue making the outline of your name tag here. So put your name. You can put hello, my name is. I did that on my example. I'll show you really quick. This will disappear because it's been weird all day. I put hello, my name is, name. We'll go over a few small tools in Photoshop, adding in pictures. Okay, so we'll do that too. Different demo. But this is what we're working on, getting your name in, kind of getting some sort of outline. You do not have to make it like this. You can make it however you want. Just practicing those tools we learned together today. Okay. If you have questions, please let me know. And hopefully I went over everything.